For his talk today, his topic is learning on mimicry, on mimetic bots and developmental robopsychology. So let's welcome Malthe.
All right, let's get going, hey? So I'm just briefly going to introduce what's going on the screen, and it's going to happen while I'm talking, so don't mind if you don't see it for all the time, but let's get it going. Basically, I told my computer to listen to every word I say, and then extract the phonetic structure of all of the words I say. So all the sounds that I make. And it's listening for all of that. So let's see if it works. I'm not sure yet. Hello.
Hollow, 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 hollow.
So this was the computer generating five new words from all the words that it knows, and all the words that it knows are on the screen. I'm going to pause once in a while, otherwise the computer can't follow up. And just to make the point, now I asked it to generate 5 or 6 new words from that new corpus of input.
My tertiarylm pod no sinker.
And that's that. And basically, I think that's the setup for today, what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the relation between me and the programs that I program. So as Vinny said in this introduction, I do PhD work at the moment, and my academic practice is very practice-based. So how does that work? I'm going to show you a few of my examples of my work, and then talk about how it informed my academic thinking throughout my process. I like this performative element of pausing all the time. It's this dramatic interruption. So first off, I want to show you this small program. It's called Without E. And let's just run it, see what happens. So I've inputted some text. Those of you who know your James Joyce will notice the last section of Ulysses. And then the program is extracting all of the E's from the text and displaying them on the screen. And on the background you see the text without all the E's. So it's this layering of the text, and it's very inspired by this old guy called Georges Perec, who wrote an entire novel in French without using the letter E. And I thought, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, it would be fun to automate this activity and just to, let everybody be Georges Perec. Let everybody write novels or text without E's. But that's very difficult, so you can just write any text you want and then let the computer extract all the E's for you. And this piece of music was that was actually the inspiration for the program. It's a piece of music by quartet, I think, called Compost 3 from Germany. And this is a piece of music that doesn't use the note E at all. So the sound and the screen and everything kind of is in symbiosis. But then, of course, that has nothing to do with how Georges Perec works. And actually, one of the things that, well, this is going to be a bit nerdy, perhaps. But this program actually made me realize another level of what is in this old guy Georges Perec's novel. Because the thing is, in his novel, you don't notice the lack of the E's. And in my program, all you see is the E's and the lack of E. So it's actually, even though I tried to automate this age-old avant-garde idea, what I ended up doing was the exact opposite of that. So I failed miserably, but I think it still kind of works. And that was also, this was the very first program I did where I thought, maybe I can be a programmer, maybe I can do stuff with this thing. Because I think it turned out kind of nice. It was very dramatic, and at the time I was all about this everything needed to have this narrative and stuff. So. Something is supposed to happen in a minute. Here we go. And that's of course the climax of the whole thing. So I don't know why I wanted to show you that, but it felt important. But what I want to iterate or reiterate is this dialectic between me coding, me contextualizing my work, and then me going back to coding. So those of you from the design program at Aarhus University, pretty much all of you, will know this idea of the iterative design process, and also this is something very important to my work. But another thing that's extremely important, let's just see if this thing is still keeping up. Hello? Sometimes it forgets to listen. Maybe it's like me. So, an important part of my iterative process is talking about my work, and then as I say stuff, I realize all the things that I didn't realize before I said stuff. So the act of saying and the act of contextualizing is really just a very important part of how I work. I don't know how am I on time? I'm okay, right? I have one more thing to show you. This is a bit more recent, and it's apparently very small. And what it does, this works with the same library that I use for the thing running in the background. And it's also a classic within generative textual coding, creating haiku poems. So here's a haiku generated from an input text. Those of you, of course, who know your Kafka will realize The Trial by Kafka. You can all see it here. But the thing about this specific piece of haiku is that I have listed all the phonetic structures of all the individual words of the haiku. That's what you can see here. It's trying to find words with a specific phonetic structure and with specific number of syllables. So it turns out we can do this. Morph the poem. And the important thing is, this poem keeps on rhyming. It will never stop rhyming with itself, and thus if you read it aloud, it will sound similar every time you reiterate. And I have done this performance of reading the poem multiple times, then letting it morph while I read. I'm not going to do that here because I don't know why. It's not going to happen. It's quite fun. Oh, verdict is there all the time. This is Kafka. It never changes. And this was really my intro into this idea of programming with text on a different level than just removing letters and everything. Because with this library, what you can do is work with the structures of the words and work with the structures of the parts of speech, the phonemes, the rhymes, and so on, which is of course also what is going on here. I mean, this thing is just working, right? Maybe? I feel like this, I just said this. I feel like it's working, but maybe not. Hello? Let's try again. Right. So I want to go on to my last section, and I just want to talk about this thing that's a constant work in progress for me at the moment, and it has to do with mimetic stuff. And the title for my talk, as Winnie read it aloud, was this weird sequence of words. And I just came up with that in order to be able to talk about whatever I want, because the title doesn't really suggest anything. But I'm going to talk about mimesis and the mimetic relation between me and my programs. So the idea is that when I program with text, in some way I am inscribing the computer to mime what I'm doing, to pretend to do something that I have imagined at one point. And of course, that happens. What happens then is that I begin to mime my computer. For instance, in the way I'm talking now, with all the pauses. It's a very clear instantiation of how I am presenting myself in a way that is understandable to my computer in order for it to work with me and me to work with it. And then those of you who are transmediale will remember me saying something about a parody, and I feel like this is a parody of me as well. And let's get the parody going, because now I'm going to ask the computer to say its ultra brief version of everything I've just said. It's Reader's Digest or Listener's Digest of my talk, based on the sounds that I've made, not the words that I've said. And that's also in the title. You'll see this weird concept of developmental robopsychology. And basically, my idea was that it was fun to think of this bot or this program as something that is learning from me the same way children learn to speak from their parents, which is from the sounds of words and not from the grammar of words.
Now brains I get things and all centum with its proverimus sedester praebain bautage hender skts sotravan abonum papalxidave.
Sounds familiar? I'm telling you, this was a complete and precise digest of everything I've just said. And if you can't understand it, that's just because you guys don't understand shit. Let's try again.
Emis comfortia sistidis listaro increcrite dots aercatema cantawas anstawea stoterathistine k tots dots stoterate in verge.
And I'm just going to end on that note. Thank you.